Bryce Young opens up about Shedeur Sanders ahead of Panthers Browns clash. I don't have any. Ahead of the Panthers Browns preseason showdown, Bryce Young shares his thoughts on Shedeur Sanders, offering a humble take as both quarterbacks prepare for pivotal moments in their careers. As anticipation builds for Friday night's preseason clash between the Carolina Panthers and the Cleveland Browns, all eyes will be on rookie sensation Shedeur Sanders as he makes his highly awaited NFL preseason debut. But while Sanders is set to command headlines, the spotlight will also be on Panthers quarterback Bryce Young, who's entering a crucial chapter in his own NFL journey. During a joint practice between the two teams earlier this week, Young was asked if he had any words of advice for Sanders ahead of his first professional outing. In a candid and humble response, the former number 1 overall pick offered insight into his own mindset as he continues to find his footing in the league. Young's comment reflects a grounded perspective from a player who understands the pressure of high expectations. After being drafted number 1 overall in 2023, Young experienced a turbulent rookie campaign and even faced a temporary benching during his second season. Now, as the Panthers place their trust in new head coach Dave Canales, Bryce Young is determined to prove he can be the franchise cornerstone they hoped for. Shedeur Sanders' rise meets Young's redemption arc. The narrative surrounding Shedeur Sanders is equally compelling. After a stellar college career at Colorado under the guidance of his father, Deion Sanders, Shedeur is entering the NFL with significant hype. He completed an impressive 74% of his passes for 4,134 yards and 37 touchdowns last season, positioning himself as one of the most exciting young quarterback prospects in the league. His matchup against the Panthers marks a major step in his transition from college stardom to the NFL grind. But if there's one thing Bryce Young knows, it's that the league humbles everyone eventually, and finding your path takes time, regardless of your pedigree. A game of perspectives and paths. While Shedeur Sanders embarks on the beginning of his NFL chapter, Bryce Young continues to write his. The beauty of Friday's preseason showdown lies not just in the action on the field, but in the collision of two journeys, one just beginning and one at a turning point. For Young, there's no handbook to success in the NFL, and in his words, no advice either. Just respect, humility, and an understanding that greatness is earned over time. The Carolina Panthers locker room was buzzing with anticipation. Week 1 of the preseason wasn't supposed to feel like a playoff atmosphere, but this one was different. The Browns were coming to town, and with them came the NFL's most talked-about rookie quarterback, Shedeur Sanders. Reporters circled around Panthers QB Bryce Young, the former number 1 overall pick, now entering his second year. He'd been calm all camp, quieter than the headlines wanted him to be. But on this morning, a question finally cracked through his calm exterior. Bryce, what do you make of Shedeur Sanders starting for the Browns this week? Any pressure knowing the spotlight might shift? Bryce smiled faintly, then leaned into the mic. I don't have any hate. None. No envy, no shade, no weird energy. I respect him. Always have. The room went quiet, because in the world of NFL rivalries, that kind of honesty, especially from one young quarterback to another, felt rare. Two paths, one pressure. Bryce Young and Shedeur Sanders had never shared a field, until now. Their college paths diverged, their styles different, their journeys sculpted by unique pressures. Bryce had been the guy since high school. A Heisman winner at Alabama. First pick in the 2023 draft. Big money, big expectations, and a rookie year that tested him in ways the cameras never fully captured. Shedeur? He'd fought his way up from the FCS level. Carried the weight of being Deion Sanders' son, endured doubters, media scrutiny, and the constant pressure of being seen as more celebrity than quarterback. But Bryce knew better. I know what it's like to have the world label you before you even throw a pass, he said. I know what it's like to be told who you are before you get the chance to prove it yourself. Shedeur's earned everything. I'm excited to share the field with him. Mutual respect in a competitive arena. Later that day, Shedeur was asked about Bryce's comments. He nodded, thoughtful. That's real. Me and Bryce? We've never trained together, but I've watched him for years. Dude's calm under pressure, accurate, smart. I respect how he carries himself. There wasn't a hint of rivalry in his voice. Just admiration. I've been watching guys like him, C.J. Stroud, even A.R. Anthony Richardson. All of them paved a road. They showed that young QBs can lead now. I'm trying to do my part. The Browns-Panthers clash wasn't just a preseason opener anymore. It was shaping up to be a symbolic moment. The first handshake between two young quarterbacks who could end up defining the next decade of the NFL. Game day. Spotlight on the future. First Energy Stadium was buzzing. The crowd wasn't full like in the regular season, but the energy was real. Fans in Bryce Young jerseys cheered just as loud as the ones in Shedeur Sanders hoodies. The camera followed both quarterbacks during warm-ups. Bryce, ever calm, flicked passes with surgical ease. Shedeur, visor low, danced to his own playlist, the same one he used during his Jackson State days. Before kickoff, the two met at midfield. No trash talk. No forced smiles. Just two quarterbacks shaking hands. "Let's ball," Shedeur said. "Always," Bryce replied. And then it began. The game that didn't feel like preseason. Shedeur's first drive was electric. Quick reads. Fast feet. A 17-yard dart on third down. A perfect back shoulder throw in the red zone. Touchdown. Bryce responded with his own signature poise, calmly orchestrating a 12-play drive that ended in a rollout touchdown toss that made it look like he was still at Alabama. The two didn't face each other on the field directly, but it felt like a duel. Every throw by one was answered by the other. By the end of the half, Shedeur was 10 of 13 with 154 yards and 2 TDs. Bryce? 11 of 15, 161 yards, 2 TDs, and a 2-minute drill that ended in a buzzer-beating field goal. Twitter was on fire. "The next generation is here," one analyst posted. "This ain't preseason, this is preview," said another. After the game, no hate, just history. The Browns would edge the Panthers 27-24, thanks to a late-game defensive stand. But the post-game wasn't about the score. It was about the quarterbacks. Bryce found Shedeur near midfield, hugged him like an old friend. "You belong," Bryce said. "You been belongin'," Shedeur replied. They swapped jerseys. Bryce wrote on his, "Keep pushing. Block the noise." Shedeur's message? "Only up from here. The future is in good hands." After the game, reporters returned to Bryce's locker, expecting him to be irritated by the loss. Instead, he smiled again. "I told you, I don't have any hate. This ain't a rivalry. It's a generation rising together. I'm proud to share that field with Shedeur." And with that, he zipped his bag and walked out, not as a defeated quarterback, but as a leader who understood the bigger picture. Because in a league where jealousy and ego often cloud growth, two young quarterbacks just reminded everyone what real leadership, mutual respect, and shared greatness can look like.